Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions, the show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and Josh is going to be with me later, but right now I am graced with the presence of the ever so lovely Miss Lisa Locke McGahee. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Now, Lisa's going to come in on this first part here because we have some very important stuff to discuss. Namely, Star Wars Celebration. It happened in London this last weekend. All the Star Wars fans went and they, were immersed in the Star Wars world for 3 days. Next year it's going to be in London. Lisa and I.
Next year it's going to be in Orlando.
Orlando, my bad. I still had London on the brain. Next year it's going to be in Orlando, and Lisa and I are both attending.
And Nora.
And Nora, of course, our daughter, and we're super excited about it. So that was the whole time I was watching the stuff this weekend. I was like, next year we'll be there.
Well, and next year is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars.
And they revealed the logo for that too at the end of the celebration. So I'm definitely going to have to get some kind of t-shirt or sticker or something that's going to have that on, of course, next year. But that'll be awesome. And I already told Lisa that I don't care if we even have Christmas, because Christmas is going to come in April next year. That's what it's going to be. But anyway, so we're going to talk about some of the Star Wars Celebration stuff. Mainly, probably spend most of the time talking about the Star Wars Rebels trailer, which I think was pretty much the highlight of Celebration from what I've been hearing as well. But StarWars.com live streamed pretty much everything on their website this weekend. So I got up every morning.
We did not live stream everything.
No, I said almost everything, okay? I got up every morning, and London, of course, is several hours ahead, so I would skim through the couple of hours of stuff and just kind of, see what's going on. The panels I watched the Mark Hamill panel, I watched the Ahsoka panel, I watched the Rogue One panel, and I watched the Rebels panel. So, just to start off, the Mark Hamill panel was hilarious. Mark Hamill, he is such a character. He started up his opening line, he was like, "Isn't it sad that you people came here to hear me talk about Episode 8, but I'm contractually obligated not to talk about Episode 8, so you're all just wasting your time?" It was pretty funny, but Mark Hamill, he's such a character. I loved it. Now, jumping over to, let's just go ahead and get into it, Rogue One. It was supposedly supposed to be the highlight of Celebration. It's the next Star Wars film coming out in December, so they brought out the whole cast, did a little Q&A, and then showed a featurette. Now, the problem is that for 2 weeks or so, we've all been teased at a 3-minute trailer, and what we got was a 3-minute featurette. Now, it's said that the people that were actually there got to see a 1-minute teaser of footage, and even got to see kind of a little silhouette of Darth Vader in this, but even then I've heard it's not even that great to begin with. So a lot of people were kind of disappointed. Instead of getting an actual trailer with Darth Vader in it, they just got a behind-the-scenes featurette.
Which didn't have Darth Vader in it.
Which did not have Darth Vader in it, of course, too. It was a nice featurette, very similar to the one they did for The Force Awakens at Comic-Con last year. When it was a nice featurette, but it wasn't the trailer.
I thought it was a cool featurette, though. I mean, it really showed that it's going to be a war movie. I mean, it really just shows you it's going to be down in the trenches.
Yeah, they were on the ground, going through it all. There was that one shot with Felicity Jones. She was running with Diego Luna, and she was carrying something in her hand.
I wonder if that's
is that the Death Star plan?
I know,
Yeah.
I was wondering that too.
I was like, yeah. So that was cool, with all the slow motion. It's a cool shot.
Yeah.
It was a cool featurette, but like I said, a lot of people are just disappointed that Disney and Lucasfilm said they used the word trailer. And that kind of threw everyone off. So, were you disappointed? Were you hoping to see a trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I was. I like the featurettes, though. I just am disappointed that we haven't seen Darth Vader yet. Whether we saw a featurette or a trailer or whatever. I mean, I like the featurette. I like featurettes sometimes because, in this one, you got to hear, the director and talking, which I thought was kind of neat because some of the things he said were really interesting, about how this is such for him, being a Star Wars fan all his life, this is the real thing, and you want to make it live up to the franchise, but also if you don't do anything different,
you want to distance yourself a little bit, right?
Right, because the Star Wars can't grow if you just keep doing what you've always done. So I thought that was really interesting, being able to hear him talk. I mean, I'm fine with the featurette. I just wish it would have had Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Even if at the very end, I thought the very end of it was cool how they would just flash all those different faces, just kind of showing you. I thought that was really neat the way they did that. I just wish Darth Vader had been in it.
Okay, good. So there's some of the other panels they had. One was talking about all the books that were coming out. of course, again, the main one we'll talk about a little bit on the Rebels. But there, I mean, did you hear about any of the other books that were coming out?
Well, I mean, I'm, you know me, I love all these books.
You do the books,
now.
yes.
And so I'm like really excited for the books.
You do the books more than I do.
Yeah, I really enjoy the books. But I really like that Lucino is going to write another one. Because I know you were not a big fan of Tarkin, but of the new canon, Tarkin's one of my very favorites. I really like Tarkin. I've been trying to listen to Aftermath right now, and I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the new one that came out, Life Debt, because Christian Harloff...
Well, I haven't read Life Debt. I wanted to go ahead and read Aftermath first.
So Christian Harloff on Collider said that Life Debt is one of his top 5 favorite new canon books now. The only problem with it is you have to really get through the first Aftermath book.
And I'm having a hard time getting through it. I actually was listening to it and I stopped partway through to listen to something else because I can't. I'm having a hard time.
You just need to do what I do. I'm going to go through like a website, go through the cliff notes.
Oh no, I'll finish it.
Get to know the characters and the story, and then I'll jump on Life Debt.
I'll finish it. I've been re-listening to the Hunger Games, so as soon as I finish Mockingjay, then I will go back and I'll finish Aftermath. But I'm really excited that Lucina's writing a new one. I'm especially we'll talk about Thrawn after the
exactly.
trailer.
We'll talk about that.
And I'm super excited for the Ahsoka book, and I'm really excited for the books that are coming out. I think it's going to be awesome.
They also teased the next Aftermath book, which is called, I believe, Empire's End.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a trilogy. The Aftermath was supposed to be a trilogy.
For those of you who don't know, that title, Empire's End, was actually the title of a Dark Horse comic book as well.
Well, they said it's supposed to be the Battle of Jakku.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's what Christian. Cool. That's what Christian said on Jedi Council.
And when we saw a little bit of the Battle of Jakku in Lost Stars, right? But I never got that far, so
you need to go back and listen to Lost Stars.
I know. I probably should, but I have so much other stuff.
And Tarkin.
Yes. Okay. See, my wife is schooling me on Star Wars. How sad is this? How sad is it?
You love it.
I feel so bad. Well, I feel a little good, but at the same time a little bad. It's a love-hate thing. Anyway, so moving on to some of the other stuff they talked about. I know you didn't finish watching the rest of the Ahsoka panel, right?
No, I didn't have to. I mean, I watched. I keep trying to watch it at night, and then Nora wants something, and it
was good. Yeah, Dave Filoni, Ashley Eckstein, and Pablo Hidalgo there.
Isn't her name Ashley Eckstein? You always add an extra syllable to that.
I don't know how to pronounce names.
Anyway.
I think if we've established anything on this show, I have no idea how to pronounce names.
Okay, that's probably true.
Anyway, so they sat down and talked about Ahsoka. They talked about a little bit what we're going to see in the book that's coming out in October. And then they also talked a little bit more. My favorite thing that I don't think you got to was they talked about a Clone Wars story they never did called The Seas of Mandalore, which I really wish they would have gotten to because the Mandalore storyline is probably one of my favorites. It happened at the end of Season 5 where Darth Maul went to Mandalore, hooked up with the Death Watch clan, and basically took over the planet and ended up killing Satine.
I saw that.
Yeah, hold on. But then it's okay. At the end of that episode, though, Obi-Wan escapes, vowing to come back and help the Mandalorians.
Oh.
And then that's it. Then the show ends. And
he never goes back.
He never goes back. So then the other one, so the part they didn't do was the Siege of Mandalore, which would have been like a Season 6, Season 7, where Obi-Wan and Anakin go back to Mandalore to try to help take out Darth Maul. And while they're there, they find Ahsoka, who has left the Jedi Order at this point, and then the three of them get together and they try to, help Mandalore and take down Maul. And then what Pablo Hidalgo and Dave Filoni was saying is that while they're on Mandalore, Obi-Wan and Anakin get called away because the Chancellor has been captured, and then so they leave Ahsoka there to take down Darth Maul.
And that would have been to the Clone Wars.
Exactly.
To Attack of the Clones.
And that would have been the lead up to Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, right.
So that would have been probably the last time we saw Ahsoka before we see her in Rebels. But yeah, so the book coming out, it's going to see.
I cannot wait for this book.
I know it's going to be. I'm excited. Exactly what's going to be.
I really love the way that Rebels has kind of given Ahsoka a second chance.
Yeah, they have.
Because she is such a badass character in Rebels, and I really hope that they do bring her back at some point. I mean, I don't know if they will, but
no.
I mean, last season of Rebels, she was so awesome, and I'm really looking forward to a little bit more digging into her story in the book.
After the season finale, Dave Filoni went online and he said pretty much Ahsoka is done in Rebels, but then of course at this panel this weekend he pretty much said, yeah, I have other ideas for Ahsoka. So whether it's going to be Rebels or something later off down the line, I know this is not the last we've seen of the character.
No, she's
especially
awesome.
how much she's evolved and become so beloved by the fans. There's no way we've seen the last of her. And I think, again, the book's going to be a big hit as well. Do you think we'll ever see her in a live-action movie?
I don't think so. I don't know that I'd want to.
Yeah.
Because, like, we know her animated.
Uh-huh.
Like, I feel like it'd be really hard to translate her into the... Plus, it couldn't be the same actress, and so the voice would be different. I like her in the animated. I think what they can do with her in the animated is... I like it that way. I mean, maybe I wouldn't complain if they put her in a live action.
Yeah.
I just don't know where she would fit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, she works well in the world. And I feel like it's kind of like this character for really the true fans. Like the casual fans who just watch the movies, they don't know who Ahsoka is. So Ahsoka is, our character. And another thing I totally forgot to mention was in that Siege of Mandalore storyline is that when Obi-Wan and Anakin leave, Anakin takes his squad with Rex and says, Ahsoka, you're in charge. So that's why you don't see Rex in episode 3 as well, because he stays with Ahsoka. And again, I'm curious to see what that is, because of course when they meet in Rebels, they have this deep embrace, which I thought was just between what we saw in Clone Wars. Turns out there's a whole other battle where Ahsoka and Rex are working together that we haven't seen yet too, that will strengthen that bond as well. So that might add a little more to their embrace at the beginning of Rebels when they meet back up. But okay.
So yeah, I definitely want the new Ahsoka shirt. For sure. I need one.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So, I mean, just for me, based off the panel, I'm excited to see Rogue One, but I'm not super excited. I'm not drooling for it like I was The Force Awakens. I'm more excited for Rebels than Rogue One. I mean, if I had to choose, I'd do Rebels.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's jump into it. The Rebels panel, the talk of celebration.
But we couldn't watch it because that was not one that was live streamed.
No, I watched it.
I thought you said it wasn't. I just asked you.
No, the Rebels one is not recorded.
You just watched it live.
Yeah, I watched it live. Like I sat there, I got dressed early, I got showered early because it was right when I was starting to get ready for work. And I sat there and I watched about the first 45 minutes of it. And the last 15 minutes, I switched over to my phone and kind of listened to it as I was driving to work.
They haven't put it on, put it up?
No, not like the actual video, I don't think. Like the Ahsoka panel, you can go on YouTube and you can see that. I think the Mark Hamill panel as well. I haven't looked for the Rebels panel, but I haven't seen it pop up on my feed the last couple days on YouTube. But they showed a couple clips from the new season, and the big thing was they showed the trailer, 3-minute trailer, revealing that they're bringing in the character Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, this is a fan favorite character from the Legends books. He has his own trilogy called the Thrawn Trilogy, which includes Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and what's the last name of that? The Last Command. That's the Thrawn Trilogy, and those books take place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and it's kind of the first expanded universe stories we got post-Jedi. Like, there was that real lull there. We didn't get any Star Wars stories after the Marvel Comics ended in, I believe, 86 or 87. And then there was no new Star Wars stories. And then I believe it's 91, 92 when Heir to the Empire came out by Timothy Zahn. And then that's when the expanded universe just took off. So it's kind of reinvigorated the fandom and the franchise a little bit, too. And it all started with Heir to the Empire, introducing this character of Grand Admiral Thrawn, who people have really grown to love. He's not my favorite, but he's one of my top 5 favorite expanded universe characters. And I'm really excited that he is in this now. So let's just get into the trailer. Thrawn, put him aside for a sec. What did you like about the trailer?
I liked everything about the trailer. It was awesome. I mean, Ezra looked badass.
Okay, I got a lot to say about Ezra.
I mean, I think in the trailer, they showed you're going to get Darth Maul this season. You get Kanan learning how to deal with his blindness. You're going to get Thrawn. You get, Cham and his people coming. Wedge, right, exactly. I mean, there's so many. I don't know how. They can't possibly have as many filler episodes this season as they did last season. No. Because there's so much stuff in this little trailer. Like, it's going to have to. I don't know, but it looked awesome.
Okay, so let's start with the easy characters first, and then we'll move on from there. So Sabine looks like she's going to have more interaction with her Mandalorian descendant.
Yeah, it looks from the trailer like she's going to have a lot bigger role.
They had that picture of her having the black saber, and last time we saw that, Maul took that from the Death Watch leader voiced by Jon Favreau. I don't remember the character's name. So that he had it saying that he was in charge of Death Watch. So I'm assuming whoever has that blade is in charge of Death Watch. And we learned last season that actually Sabine's relatives are descendants from the Death Watch clan, which is the group of rebellious Mandalorians that dress like their Jango and Boba Fett. That's where the Fetts came from, is that group as well. Anyway, so maybe Sabine's going to step up and take control of something. I don't know. Maybe going to have her own little gang or army, perhaps. Who knows? Zeb and Hera, we didn't really get a lot from them.
No, they just, Zeb and Hera just kind of were popped in bits and pieces. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think
they're going to have any big story. I mean, Zeb had his big story.
Zeb had a couple of good ones last season, too. And Hera had to deal with, stepping up and being a bigger leader in the rebellion and her issues with her father.
And it looks like he's going to be playing
he's going to be back as well, too, so that'll be good. Going on from there, we have the guest stars coming in. We have Hondo coming back, which that'll be fun, of course. I liked Hondo in Clone Wars. I like him better in Rebels because in Clone Wars he was this gang kind of pirate overlord, and in Rebels he's fallen from the ranks. He's out of his element. He's just doing what he has to do to survive, and that makes him a more fun character, I think, in that instance. Going on, let's go Darth Maul, voiced by Sam Witwer. He's coming back. He popped up at the end of last season trying to lure Ezra to the dark side to be his apprentice. It's
so hard to figure out what he's up to.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I have loved this character. When they brought him up in Clone Wars, oh my god. I mean, it's Dave Filoni's story ideas mixed with Sam Witwer's voice talent. He is, hands down, now one of my favorite Star Wars villains. I mean, he was just... The way they're handling his character is phenomenal.
He's so manipulative. Like, you just can't... Like, I feel like a lot of the other villains, they just are villains. Like, there's not a lot of gray area. Like him, I feel like you can't always tell what his motivations are.
Because now he doesn't consider himself a Sith as well, because he's fallen out of the grace of the Sith.
He's just a bad guy.
He's just a bad guy out for himself. Really, he's out for himself, and he's just, a guy who does bad things to self-serve himself.
To self-serve himself.
I made it up right there. Done. All right. So let's move on from there. Kanan.
Well, wait. What about back with Maul with the holocrons?
Well, I figure I'd mix that in with the Ezra stuff.
Oh, fine.
Okay. So Kanan, last season, Maul blinded him. Do you think that Kanan is going to get his sight back this season, or do you think he's permanently blind?
I think he's blind.
Okay. It's going to be a total different aspect for the character. He's sporting that beard now as well.
I mean, he's an actual Jedi now.
Yeah,
and he's blind.
He got knighted last season, and he's blind. So I think it's going to be a very different character, I believe, than what we've seen before. But as we saw in the previews, he still looks like he can handle himself. Like he got fired on by like the rocket or whatever, and he used the Force to throw it into that not an AT-ST, I think they are. Not an AT-AT. AT-ATs are the bigger ones. The smaller ones are, I think, are AT-STs.
The ones that walk on two legs?
Yes, don't quote me on that, though. Anyway, so he's going to have to rely more on his Force powers. And like I said at the end of Season 2, Kanan, if you've read the books and watched Rebels, and read the comics too, The Last Padawan, you can see that ever since Order 66, he has grown away from his Jedi powers, trying to forget about it. And then in New Dawn, Hera comes in, kind of, gets him back on the path to using his Jedi abilities and using them for the greater good. And as Rebels progressed, he's, relied more and more on his Jedi powers. He has, again, become knighted. So now he's blind, and he's going to have to rely so much on these powers that he once tried to,
suppress.
Suppress, exactly. So I think for that character, that's a great story arc to go through.
Yeah.
It's a shame, though, man. Gosh. But we did see scenes. There's some green ghost that's going to take over him. And it gives him green eyes, so maybe he can see again. And then you saw he was fighting Maul in one shot, but I could see the green eyes, so that's probably something.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I was always under the impression, based on what happened with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul in Clone Wars, that Obi-Wan had to be the one to kill Maul. Now, I'd be okay if it was Kanan or Ezra at this point.
I don't think they're going to kill him. I don't think he's done yet. I think that they'll defeat him in some way in this, but I don't think that they'll kill him. I think he'll get away.
He's always going to be past. Because I didn't think he'd still come back in season 3 and do the whole I'm still trying to lure Ezra to the dark side. But it looks like he is.
Yeah.
He's still trying to play Ezra.
Yeah, he is.
And, so
he's like manipulating Ezra. Like at that little clip that they showed where he like gets Kanan and Ezra to wherever he is, and then he separates them, and he like shoots Kanan out the ship or whatever. Like, I mean, he is totally trying to manipulate Ezra.
Okay, so,
but Ezra's making it easy for him because Ezra is so he's so divided.
So I'm gonna throw this out here, and this is gonna be a good discussion I feel about. So when Rebels first came on, and I watched that pilot episode, and I thought to myself, gosh, Kanan and Ezra. This is what I felt like we should have got Obi-Wan and Anakin in the prequels. It's what I felt like they should have been like. And then as the season and the series has progressed, Ezra, while still, in my opinion, kind of annoying, has shown that he is immensely powerful in the Force. And then, of course, they keep on teasing, maybe he's going to the dark side, maybe he's going to the dark side. I feel like Ezra is the Anakin Skywalker we should have got in the prequel films. And I was sitting there watching Collider Jedi Council yesterday, and I was like, I feel like Ezra is Lucasfilm's apology for what they did to Anakin in the prequels, because he's everything that what Anakin should have been, and the better parts of Anakin, the way he has progressed as a character. It's not just a one-note switch. And I feel like the luring from Darth Maul to Ezra to the dark side, that slow build and stuff like that, is what we should have got between the Emperor and Anakin as well.
And especially, too, because I feel like you see the darkness in Ezra even before Maul came into the picture.
Yes.
Like, where I don't think with Anakin you saw it. Anakin didn't have a dark side, really, I don't think, until the Emperor started manipulating him. I mean, as soon as he met the Emperor before he even became whatever.
Yeah, when he started Jedi training.
I think the Emperor was manipulating, in the films anyway, in the prequels, the Emperor, I don't think that Anakin had the evil. I think that the Emperor manipulated him. I think you can see the darkness in Ezra from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Before he meets Maul, before the dark side, just what happened to his family and... And
that goes again, going to similarities between Anakin and Ezra, okay? Mm-hmm. They were both, began their training late as far as Jedi standards. They both had tragedy with their parents that happened, and they're both trying to use their abilities to save the ones they loved. In this trailer, we saw Ezra saying that, he needs to be more powerful. Why? So he can protect the people he cares about, which is what Anakin tried to do in the prequels. He wanted to become more powerful so that he could save Padme. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what it is. Now, with this one, we see he's actually grown up a little more. Mm-hmm.
He looks a lot older.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the time lapse is between season 2 and season 3. But he's got that scar on his cheek. Did he get that from his fight with Vader? I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember. I mean, it was over so quickly.
Yeah, I know that Vader destroyed his lightsaber, which is why he's got this new one, the new green one, right now. So that makes sense to me. But yeah, he cut his hair and he looks badass, like fighting those stormtroopers.
Yeah,
he looks like what we wanted Anakin to be. Mm-hmm. And it's very bad that, again, one of the reasons I like TV better than movies is you get the character build up. You have the time to do that slow burn, whereas with movies you have 2 hours, maybe 3 to fit all this story in there. Whereas with a TV show, you have hours upon hours to develop the character, to get you to care about the character, to do that slow build-up to the dark side. So with Ezra, is he turning dark at the end of the season?
I don't think so. I think they'll drag it out a little bit.
I think we'll see. I think by the end of season 3, you'll see that he's going to the dark side or not. Mm-hmm. But if he does, he won't be full on.
I think it depends on how many seasons they plan to do. I think Ezra officially going to the dark side will be the end of Rebels.
You think we're going to see Ezra anywhere in the movies or anywhere else?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like speculating because I have no idea.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Understandable. So now, let's put it like this here. How should I put this? Which of the Ghost Crew is going to die this season? I always thought the first one to go would be Hera.
I don't know. That would destroy Kanan.
Exactly. That's why I think it would destroy. She's so pivotal to. I mean,
all of them.
Exactly. She's the mother figure to Sabine and Ezra. She's the. I guess we haven't really figured out lover for Kanan.
I'll tell you, if you want Ezra to go dark, you can kill Kanan.
Well, yeah, but I think if you kill any one of the ghost characters, Ezra's gone.
No, I don't think so then necessarily. I think killing Kanan is what would really do it, because I think if you killed any of the rest, Kanan would still be there to kind of keep Ezra grounded.
Okay, Ezra is our main character of the show, and you can see his relationship with all the ghost crew.
No, I know.
And I think any one of them is going to set him off.
No, I agree, but I'm saying Kanan would be there. If it wasn't him, he would be there to help rein Ezra in, to help remind him who he is and that he, whatever.
Yeah.
I think he would try to keep him
Redeem him?
Yeah, not redeem him, but he would try to keep him from turning. I think the only way Ezra turns completely is if Kanan is gone.
Okay, this makes sense, I guess. So then we saw, Kanan still has the Jedi, the Sith holocrons that he picked up as well. And there are a couple of voices that we heard throughout here. Now, one of them is that voice that I refer to as the Ventress voice. We saw that at the end of season 2 in the Rebels finale. I don't think it has anything to do with Ventress. It just is a voice they're using for the Sith. I think it just sounds like Ventress is what it is. And then the other voice we heard was
that big elephant thing.
So I'm not
that?
Okay. So that's voiced by Tom Baker, which is one of the original Doctors. I think he's the original Doctor Who, if I remember correctly, because they talked about him on the panel. But I swear, I think it was him that was talking, but I could have sworn I heard Terrence Stamp as well. Terrence Stamp played Chancellor Valorum in Episode 1. He also is known for General Zod in Superman 2 with Christopher Reeves. So I don't think, like a voice from the holocron, I don't think that is Chancellor Valorum, but I think they might have brought Terrence Stamp in to do some voice work, unless it's Tom Baker, because I don't know this Tom Baker guy well enough to know his voice.
I have no idea.
It just sounded like Terrence Stamp to me, but I don't know. But you saw Kanan and Ezra and Darth Maul there playing with the holocrons. You saw how you see that where Ezra and Darth Maul look, they were mixing the Jedi and the Sith holocrons.
And there was some kind of
and then there was kind of explosion. So I'm curious what that's all about. So many questions just to entice us. It was, I mean, anyone can say it. The Rebels panel, I think, was it. And bringing in Thrawn, so great. You saw him in there. I think he's going to be that true character that he was in Legends, studying people's art in order to learn about them and destroy them slowly. You saw pictures of Hera and her family, of Ezra, of Sabine's art that she does. So she's studying the Ghost crew to learn how to take them out. And this spells very bad things for the crew of the Ghost. What he'll do, I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. But in any event, we still haven't got a premiere date for Rebels as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. As soon as that comes up, you'll be sure I'll post that on the Facebook group because I'll be all excited for it. It's going to be awesome. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, at Celebration, like last year, they got to see the first 2 episodes already. So people have seen season 3 of Rebels. We just haven't.
They showed it?
If I remember correctly, that's what they were going to do. They did that
last year, but we don't know. No one has said they did that this year.
I don't know. They were allegedly supposed to, but
yeah, but they were allegedly going to do a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. Like in that last panel there, where you had Rian Johnson, Phil Lord, and Chris Miller, and I heard that one was real because they didn't stream that Sunday morning. I was waiting to go to work to see that, and they didn't stream it at all. And I was like, oh dang it, that's what I wanted to see. But allegedly, you didn't hear anything about that as well. All we know is Episode 8 is going to take place immediately after Episode 7. There's going to be no real time lapse. So we're going to pick up with Luke and Rey on that rock there. And then also Lucasfilm officially announced Alden Ehrenreich, or whatever his name was, as the young Han Solo, and they brought him on stage, which everyone knew that. Yeah, I mean, Disney and Lucasfilm never confirmed it, but it's been going around for a month now. It's like, it's old news. And we didn't get a title for Episode 8. We didn't get any more casting news. We didn't get a new spin-off news. Everyone wanted to see Ewan McGregor come out on stage to announce an Obi-Wan movie. That didn't happen. But I'm okay with that, because you know what? That means it's going to happen next year when we're there in Orlando. They're going to be gearing up for Episode 8. They're going to be celebrating the 40th. And we're going to be there. I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. So cool. Anything else on Star Wars you want to talk about before we go? And I hand it over to Josh.
No, I'm super excited for the books and for Rebels
and just Star Wars in general. I mean, it's if you're a Star Wars fan, especially an old school Star Wars fan like me, who have been a lifelong fan, we got bits and pieces of Star Wars throughout 1983 to 2012. But now that they joined up with Disney, it's a whole machine. You got so many books, TV shows, movies, comic books, which they didn't talk about the comic books, which I imagine they're going to talk about during Comic-Con this weekend in the Marvel panel. That's my assumption anyway. But yeah, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. I'll tell you what, I'm so excited for all the stuff that is happening now. And my only hope is that, we get Nora more into Star Wars before we head to Celebration.
Yeah. Well, now she's got her R2-D2 bike helmet.
She got her bike helmet, yes, exactly, as well. She has her lightsaber, so we just have to immerse her more in the Star Wars world. So that way I feel like she'll be more excited for Celebration.
We should dress her like Ahsoka.
Yeah, I was thinking more Rey.
No, Ahsoka.
Well, you want to do like pigtails or?
We can get her like a head thing. I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it as far as Star Wars news. Be back in just a sec with Josh to talk about all the other stuff, including what we look forward to at Comic-Con this weekend. All right, everyone, we are back here, and I am joined by none other than Mr. Joshua Del Angel.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Yes. He only arrived an hour late today. I called him at 11:30 a.m. and he was still asleep. Now, last time I slept that late, which was many, many years ago, of course, I usually did something very stupid the night before. So what was the stupid thing you did, if you can remember it, Josh?
The only stupid thing I did was finish my full bottle of scotch, or what was left of it.
The full bottle, wow.
No way. I would be alive today.
Okay.
But yeah, to be honest with you, I just woke up. And,
see what I have to deal with?
It was the Mrs. and I's anniversary yesterday.
Awesome. How many years?
8 years, man.
8 years you've been together, huh?
So we went to do the steak dinner thing, and we had drinks after, and yeah, it was a long night. I'm just going to leave it at the PG for
okay.
now.
All right. Well, we'll look at it this way, okay? This past Monday night, you were with the missus. Now, this coming Monday night, you're going to be with the boys. Because if you remember correctly, you, me, and Jaime, we're going to see The Killing Joke on Monday night in theater.
From 1 week to the next.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. So we may have to go have a few drinks before then, get a little revved up for it, and that'll be a good time. The first ever Batman R-rated movie to come out, technically, if you don't count the Ultimate Cut that was shown last month as well, which I don't, because this was meant to be shown as R-rated. It's not like PG-13 and they came out with the director's cut. This is just flat out R. So.
We gotta get in Joker mode, man. I gotta watch some old Joker films or something like that. I don't know.
You can do that. Go watch some old animated series with Mark Hamill and stuff like that. So, all right. So Lisa and I already talked a little about Star Wars Celebration and kind of the Star Wars stuff. Covered that aspect, but I figured I'd go ahead and get your thoughts on some Star Wars stuff just briefly while we're here. Of course, you have the Rogue One featurette that came out. I know you said you watched that as well. And then you were asking me questions about the Han Solo stuff that they talked about too. So as far as the Rogue One stuff, what did you feel about the featurette?
Did I see the Chrome Stormtrooper?
No, that was Captain Phasma. I don't think so. There was a lot they were showing us, but no, it wasn't a Chrome Stormtrooper. No.
Okay, that's why I thought it was. My first thought was once seeing the Chrome. What I thought was the Chrome. I thought it was the one from Force Awakens.
I don't think so. So, like I said, so 3 minutes long. What did you get out of it?
One, the featurette was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a war movie, man.
It's a war movie. Absolutely. When seeing the battle scenes, I thought Saving Private Ryan.
Exactly.
Immediately thought of all my favorite war movies. But then there's this new innovator. It's Star Wars, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be
Star Wars.
It's a different genre. Like much how like Marvel has done their subgenres of Winter Soldier was a spy movie and Ant-Man was a heist movie. This is a Star Wars movie that is a war movie or a spy movie almost, kind of, I guess.
Do you get the feeling that this movie is a slightly underrated, or people aren't excited about it as they were with obviously Force Awakens?
Well, Force Awakens had a lot going for it as far as it's coming off a point where we thought we were going to have no more Star Wars movies. It was when Disney picked up, George Lucas sold the rights to Disney, so it was a new era, a new team behind them. It was coming off of the disappointing prequels. It was ramping up with all the new books and comics and TV shows and everything. So Force Awakens had a lot to live up to, but it was something people were looking forward to. I think Rogue One also has a lot to live up to because it is the first anthology film. So it's going to be interesting if people respond to it more. Because I know a lot of people who've asked me already, they're like, this isn't episode 8, is it? Like, no, it's not episode 8. This is another piece, before episode 4. So, again, I think the main distinction, you got to let people know this is not episode 8. It's a different distinction in the Star Wars universe, to the general public at least.
What's cool is for the Star Wars fan, and I got the exact same Star Wars feeling that I have been getting with Force Awakens. But I feel like it's something we haven't seen on the big screen before. Like we said, a war movie with Star Wars as your main subject.
Yeah, it's just set in the Star Wars universe.
And I'm super excited. I have no idea what to expect. As well as it's a war film, but you also have this lead kick-ass female actress who's
Felicity Jones.
Who's exactly. So I'm excited, man.
It'll be good. For me, like Lisa and I talked about, I am more excited for Rebels Season 3 just because I'm so invested into that than I am Rogue One. I'm excited for Rogue One, but I have said before, my favorite part of Star Wars are the Jedi, the Sith, the Force, the lightsabers, all that stuff. That mythology is what I'm excited about, but it's still, a fun world to play in, and I am excited for it. I probably will go opening night, just because, like Lisa's, I've gotten Lisa into Star Wars more, so she's going to be more excited. So that'll probably be the next movie we actually do on opening night.
Okay.
Yeah, because all the other ones, like I'm not planning a Suicide Squad opening night. I know you are, but that'll probably be the next one that I see. Oh no, unless Lisa wants to go to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I'll let her decide on that.
We have talked a lot about that.
We'll just have to wait and see about that. So, and then you asked about the Han Solo stuff. So at the very last panel at Star Wars Celebration, they had, Future Films of Star Wars, where they had Kathleen Kennedy, who's the Lucasfilm president, and then you had Rian Johnson, who's directing Episode 8. Then you had Chris Lord and Phil Miller, who are directing the Han Solo film. And then Lucasfilm of Disney brought out Alden Ehrenreich, I never pronounced his name right, who they officially announced as the Han Solo. Now, that's the thing, because a month or so ago, we learned the news that he was cast as Han Solo, but Lucasfilm and Disney never really confirmed it.
Right.
So now they've confirmed it, but everyone else is just like, well, we already knew this. And the only real news that I took away from that panel was just that Episode 8, they said, is going to take place immediately after Episode 7. So they're going to pick up with Luke and Rey on that rock.
Very cool.
Which is weird, because on all the other Star Wars movies, they've taken place years apart. Hold on. My phone's ringing.
All
right, sorry. Okay, so that's the only thing I took away. And just to let you know about my nerd-isms, or how into Star Wars I am, I'm going to go to give you a little timeline here as far as the Star Wars movies, okay? Because Episode 8, like I said, takes place right after Episode 7. So starting with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 10 years later, we get Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. 3 years later, we get Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. 20 years later, takes place Episode 4, New Hope. 3 years later is Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. A few months later is Return of the Jedi. And then 30 years later, we get The Force Awakens. So there's your timeline for you. Episode 8, though, says there's going to be no lapse, which will be a first.
Yeah, the way the story ended, you almost feel like you have to.
Yeah.
You leave it with a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
like that.
I would like to have seen them jump ahead and have her just, have been training as a Jedi for a while.
I want to see that first interaction between Mark Hamill and... wow, I'm blanking on her name today.
The character's name is Rey. Daisy Ridley. Yes. Hey, you should follow her on Instagram. She's really interesting to follow on Instagram, too. It's really cool.
My sister's really into the actress and Rey.
Yeah, she should follow her on Instagram. It's funny, I go to her and Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow. They always post, their workout routines and what they do and stuff. It's interesting.
Arrow's workout would be awesome.
But yeah, so Star Wars, coming up, excited. But there's something else we got going on this weekend, which is a little thing called San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Where we're going to get a bigger spectrum. Now, at Celebration, we didn't get a lot of comic book news as far as Star Wars. I imagine they're probably saving it for Comic-Con, and Marvel's going to do their Star Wars stuff then. But some of the stuff we are kind of teased about is some of the DC and Marvel stuff. Now, Batman v Superman: The Ultimate Cut came out on DVD and Blu-ray today. I picked it up first thing. You said you're going to pick it up too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll watch that and maybe talk about it next week. But Warner Brothers seems like they're going to come out swinging this year. They got a Justice League panel they're talking about. I don't think we'll see any clips, but I imagine we'll probably get some kind of pictures or something like that. I'm hoping they bring out the whole cast. But considering their big push this year is going to be Wonder Woman, I think we'll get the cast of Wonder Woman and maybe not the whole cast of the Justice League.
With Gal Gadot and Chris Pine.
Chris Pine and all of them. So with that, Warner Brothers came out and talked to kind of about how their strong push is going to be Wonder Woman, because after Suicide Squad comes out in a few weeks, that's their next DC film to come out next year. They even came out with the official synopsis, quote, "Before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana, princess of the Amazons, trained to be an unconquerable warrior. Raised on a sheltered island paradise, when an American pilot, Chris Pine, crashes on their shores and tells of a massive conflict raging in the outside world, Diana leaves her home, convinced she can stop the threat. Fighting alongside man in a war to end all wars, Diana will discover her full powers and her true destiny." Now, along with this, Warner Brothers and DC actually went ahead and said the actual writers of the film or the script. Now, originally it was announced that Jason Fuchs, which I know I totally said that wrong probably, was going to be writing the film, who wrote films such as Ice Age, Continental Drift, and Pan. But if you look on the IMDb website for Wonder Woman, it's not there anymore. Instead, the writers are listed as Alan Heinberg and Jeff Johns.
Nice.
Now, Johns, of course, has recently been promoted to oversee the production of all DC Extended Universe movies at Warner Brothers. He's also a longtime DC writer. Heinberg actually came up with a story with Wonder Woman. Came up with a story for Wonder Woman with Zack Snyder as well. Now, the Wonder Woman panel is set to be at Hall H on July 23rd at 11 a.m. The film itself comes out June 2nd, 2017. I think we're getting at least some kind of teaser trailer. Would you go that far as to say that?
Yeah, definitely. Some type of maybe a minute trailer.
Yeah, minute and a half. I don't think we're going to full 2 minutes, but we got to have something. They finished wrapping a while ago. It's their next big film coming out, I think. And they got to get on this movie because people are so hesitant of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. They got to take this opportunity to come out strong and show people, yeah, we made the right choice. You may have doubted us, but here's our proof we made the right choice.
Yeah, and in the film Batman vs. Superman, she does a good job selling the character.
Yeah, but she doesn't talk as much,
exactly.
So you really can get a good sense of how she's going to be. Granted, she looks awesome.
She looked the part.
She fights. That's great. But it's the dialogue, the interaction, all that stuff that's going to be the important part.
Right.
I love that this is going to be a period piece set back in World War I. The story synopsis is very similar to the origin of Wonder Woman. So in that case, I'm really excited. I'm very curious if they're going to get into the whole Greek mythology of her backstory, because originally, she was said to be made out of clay and, constructed by her mother with the help of the gods. But really, her mother lied to her whole life, because what happened was that her mother slept with Zeus. So that makes her a demigod. She's hid the truth from her whole life. And then, of course, the gods are then after her, especially Zeus's wife, Hera. And I'm a big Greek mythology guy, so yeah. I love that aspect of it. I don't think we're really going to see a lot of that in this one, because this is really setting up her introduction with Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, World War I, and setting it up to where we're going to meet her in Batman v Superman.
Kind of like a Captain America vibe.
Yeah, exactly. I think exactly what it's going to be, where this, much like Captain America, whereas the origin of Captain America set during World War II, this is going to be the origin of Wonder Woman set during World War I. They have said though that Ares, the god of war, will make an appearance. So we're gonna get some. Think of it,
God of War in the movie.
Of course. Well, it is a world war, so we got to bring in the god of war. Of course, I want to see her fight the god of war like she does in the comics. That would be awesome. I'm excited for it, but again, Gal Gadot. That's my only hesitation.
Well, the best news that we've heard so far is that Jeff Johns has been, does have his fingers
been involved,
in it. He is very much involved with this movie.
And I'm hoping it has to do because he's had his fingers in movies before, such as Green Lantern, and they haven't really turned out that well.
True.
But now that he's got this new promotion, I hope he oversees more of it, because he's a phenomenal storyteller. And if he's gonna be promoted to work more in the movies, and I don't get as much in the comics, I want to make sure that storytelling still lives on to make some good movies.
Yeah, I hope it's just not like a publicity stunt by Warner Brothers just to attach his name to the project. For comic book fans, that name is a big one. So it's a name we trust.
Yeah,
so.
I think Warner Brothers set up to steal Comic-Con.
Right.
But Marvel, never count them out because they're working on Infinity War right now in Atlanta. They could bring something from that. We don't know yet. The one thing we do know they're going to bring is Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So last week we got a concept picture of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that featured the cast, including the new character Mantis, played by actress Palm Klementieff. And of course, again, I mispronounced that, so names. I do apologize. So speaking with executive producer Jonathan Schwartz, he told Entertainment Weekly, quote, "She has never really experienced social interaction. Everything she learns about dealing with people, she learns from the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a very weird group to learn your social intricacies from." And then he went on to talk about Groot and how we see in the picture, it's little Groot still. It's not big Groot yet. Remember at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he was essentially reborn. He was a little stick, and we saw him, dancing Groot and all that. So he hasn't quite grown yet. So talking with Morris Schwartz about that, he said, quote, "He doesn't have the wisdom and experience of that Groot. He's a younger Groot and a more rambunctious Groot. The question is he the same Groot, just smaller, or is he a different Groot that sprung up from the seed of the first Groot?" Guardians of the Galaxy, again, going to be shown. That panel is going to be on Saturday, July 23rd at Comic-Con. The movie opens May 5th, 2017. You saw the picture, right?
Yes, I saw the picture.
Okay, so giving these descriptions of the characters and the concept art, are you more jazzed for it? What are your feelings on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 now?
I'm more excited about the second one than I was. Honestly, the first one I was excited about. This one I'm just pumped, man. The success behind it.
I will never forget. I was excited because, I knew Guardians of the Galaxy, but I didn't know them very well.
Right.
So when they said they were going to make a movie, I went back and I read the 2008 books, which I read.
You gave me the one.
Gave me the first line. That's
we
how
both got prepared,
and that's how I got hooked on it. And in that book was Mantis. The character was in there, and she's like a telepath, very honest, kind of naive character. So I'm curious how she's going to fit in with the Guardians. I'm glad they're putting her in there as well. I'd love to see them bring back Cosmo, the talking dog, which we saw briefly in the first movie. But I'd love to bring him in, but it's all right. I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, it's funny because when the first one came out, Lisa saw the previews for it, and she's like, "Are you going to have to go see that opening night?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to go see it opening night." And she was totally against the film right up until she saw the film. And then she's like, "I want to go see that again." Definitely. So I'll never forget that, where she was totally like, thought the movie looked so stupid, but then we came out of it and she was like, "That was awesome." I'm like, yeah, but now you have those expectations. Now people are expecting so much of Volume 2 because Volume 1 was so good.
Yeah.
I guess I call it Volume 1, but anyway. But yeah, I'm excited for the Mantis thing was fine. I like his comments on Groot, where it's like, is this the same Groot yet smaller and younger? Or is this a totally different Groot,
I like how much depth that quote right there just adds to the character, though, and how much we may, see from this character.
Yeah. Does he have all the memories of Groot?
Right.
Or is this just like a newborn baby, like reincarnated? You have to teach him everything all over again.
And that little question mark, in addition to the addition of Mantis, yes. More comic relief. I get the feeling that they got the formula down, man, and it's gonna be hilarious, full of fun, action.
You think they're gonna show any teasers from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or?
I can't see why not. I mean, this is
they've been done filming for a while, I think, on that too. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I mean, definitely some images and stuff like that. They'll show some kind of video. Whether it'll be released to the public or not is kind of iffy. Because of that Star Wars Celebration, they streamed the whole thing on StarWars.com, but they left out like stuff. Like they showed like a 1 minute like trailer for Rogue One that they didn't stream. Only the people there got to see it. And then that whole last panel, like I said, with Rian Johnson and Phil Lord and talking about Han Solo, they didn't stream that either. So there are certain things that they didn't stream online. They saved for the people at Comic-Con that were or Star Wars Celebration were there. So I imagine it'll be the same thing at Comic-Con.
Right.
Now the question is about security, because people always complain that no matter what, stuff leaks out. People will have their phones, they don't do a good job enough for security, and video gets out. Whether they're going to tighten up security this year, I would say yes, but
you think
who knows?
So?
We'll see. I don't really care. I mean, you know what? The people pay all this money to go to Comic-Con. They deserve it. I'm okay waiting a couple months later to get that footage. It's just what do you? These people, they traveled all this way. They paid all this money. You got to give them something more than just the general public is going to see sitting at home.
Give them a reason to come to San Diego Comic-Con.
Like I was talking about, with Celebration, and Lisa and I are going next year. Did I mention we're going to Celebration next year?
Yes, you did.
Okay, yeah. So, again, I want to see just a little something extra while I'm there that the general public won't be able to see.
I swear, if you see a lightsaber fight, like a professional lightsaber
fight. Oh, it's so cool.
So
I'm watching them stream Star Wars Celebration this weekend, and I knew they had this where they take the little kids that are there, they give them brown Jedi robes and little lightsabers, and you do like lightsaber training. And I'm just I'm like, oh my God, Nora's so gonna do that next year.
Oh man,
so gonna do that next year. Me and Lisa were talking about how we want to get her more into Star Wars. Till then, I mean, she likes Star Wars, but she's not into it like she is like Captain America and other things.
Not yet.
So I want to try to get her more into it, and where hopefully she'll enjoy it more. So we'll just have to wait and see.
We're going to take count of her midi-chlorian count.
Exactly. All right, so jumping off Comic-Con for a little bit, we'll talk more about that. Hopefully we'll have some teasers and stuff to talk about next week as far as that goes. But this week, a big movie came out. The remake of Ghostbusters came out, directed by Paul Feig, stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Chris Hemsworth. This movie has been surrounded by a crapload of controversy, and I went and saw it just because I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I wasn't expecting much, and I gotta say, it was okay.
What?
I'm gonna say okay. I gave a little brief summary on Facebook, but just to say that the movie did not suck. It is nowhere near the good of the first one, but I almost want to put it above the second Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, wow.
It was funny. These girls were funny. I will give them that. I liked it. Probably my least favorite part of the film, the third act was kind of nah. And also the cameos of the original Ghostbusters, like Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver, all them, it kind of threw me out of the movie. I almost wish they weren't there because I was immersed in this film, and then these guys pop up that kind of take me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I feel like they if they weren't in it, I would be maybe even enjoy it a little more.
Right.
But I will tell you, Kate McKinnon was hilarious, Bunny's thing apart, and Chris Hemsworth was freaking hilarious.
Really?
Okay? Now, Chris Hemsworth, outside of Thor, the only thing I've liked him in is the Ron Howard film Rush. I didn't like that Moby Dick movie he did. I didn't like Snow White and the Huntsman. He just did another one, I think, that kind of bombed. Oh, the Huntsman sequel, that bombed too. So he hasn't had a lot of luck outside of Thor. With this, he nails it. He plays this like dumb, buff, stupid guy, and he is hilarious. Okay, he's hilarious. Him and Kate McKinnon are the funniest parts of this movie, and it is funny. The movie is funny, so I will give it credit. It's got some cool special effects. I recommend going to see it. Honestly, I do.
Yeah. We probably will go see it in theater. I was reading a lot about it last night. Honestly, I was reading a lot of negative things surrounding Leslie Jones.
Yeah, she was probably my least favorite out of all of it. I don't like Melissa McCarthy either. So, but
okay.
And then Kristen Wiig was just playing Kristen Wiig, her usual role.
Right.
So that wasn't anything big. We'll say there's also an after credit scene, so you got to stay for that. And that kind of ties back to the original Ghostbusters film. Just FYI. So if you stay for the after credits, you can have that. But funny thing about this film as well is that, of course, like I said, they're not showing it in China. So originally, Hollywood Reporter is saying that China will not release the film because, first off, Ghostbusters aren't really that big there in China, but also they don't want to promote supernatural content, quote, for promote cults or superstition, which is kind of weird. I know the last Pirates film, they didn't show that, and there's a couple of films that China doesn't show, which I'm not sure how it's going to go because China's become the second biggest market when it comes to movies. Some say movies now depend on the international market to be successful, so we'll see how that goes. However, a Ghostbusters sequel, the Sony president said is all but a go at this point. So people's positive response to the film, I think it merits a sequel. I will give it that. I'd like to see a sequel and see where it goes from here. It's just a matter of how much money it's going to make. We'll just have to wait and see.
On a side subject here, do you think, especially with all these lead, like in Star Wars, you have a lot of lead female actresses now, lead female stories. Yeah. Ghostbusters is feeding right off of that, man. I mean, we're building.
It's all about the girl power now, man. You got you got Star Wars with all the girl power. You got Ghostbusters with the girl power.
Wonder Woman coming out.
Wonder Woman coming out. It's finally they're trying to balance it. They're trying to get, because we're guys. We like Ghostbusters. We like Star Wars. We like superheroes. We're going to go see this stuff.
Right.
They need to capture the other market. They need to capture the girls. They need that girl who's going to go see that, Katherine Heigl film and instead say, no, I want to go see Ghostbusters instead. They need that. That's the audience they're trying to capture.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to wait and see. But Ghostbusters, I recommend going to see it. However, I don't think you're going to have enough time, given the fact that this weekend another big movie comes out, Star Trek Beyond.
Yep.
That's right. Good reviews, man. I'm hearing nothing but good reviews about it, getting me psyched for the film. So, what's her name? Zoe Saldana. I watched her on Colbert last night. And, okay, I haven't watched Stephen Colbert on The Late Show since he took over The Late Show. But last night he started covering the Republican National Convention. Oh, my God, it was hilarious. Go on YouTube, watch the clips. It was hilarious, man. Simply hilarious.
Having our Colbert back.
Yes, kind of like that. So, all right. So Zoe Saldana, hey, she was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and now she's in Star Trek Beyond as well. I call her the princess of sci-fi now. She's in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's in Star Trek. She's in Avatar. I mean, she's seen it all.
Is this the same actress that was also in Riddick as well?
No, she was in Center Stage. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen her without makeup. To be honest with you, she's always covered.
She doesn't have. And she was Uhura in Star Trek. She doesn't have makeup on there.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
but
that's the girl. She is in Chronicles of Riddick, by the way.
Was she? I actually never saw that movie. Yes, don't hate me for that.
Your sci-fi princess title.
Yeah, I think so, because she's in so many big sci-fi stuff.
Absolutely,
so,
man.
So J.J. Abrams, who is not directing the film but still producing this next Star Trek film, they were talking about the movie, and he actually kind of let it slip that they already have plans for a Star Trek 4, and they're planning. And Paramount actually yesterday confirmed this. They're planning on bringing back Chris Hemsworth as George Kirk, as Kirk's dad. Now, no one knows yet if it's going to be time travel or alternate timeline or whatever, flashbacks, whatever. But they pretty much confirmed that in Star Trek 4, they're going to bring back Chris Hemsworth as George Kirk. Now, those of you who remember, he died at the beginning of the original Star Trek 2009 film, saving the crew of the Kelvin and kind of setting off the reboot for the Kelvin timeline, as they call it. No one knows exactly how it's going to happen, but it should be interesting. So, for you, Josh, would you rather see it as time travel, alternate timeline, or flashback?
The time travel, I believe. Honestly, if you could have those two actors on the same screen, I think that would be...
And I think they said that they are going to have Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine together as well in a scene. So that would probably say time travel, because in the original Star Trek storyline, Kirk's dad didn't die because the events of the Kelvin never happened. So his dad, he grew up with his dad, grew older, stuff like that. So maybe he steps into the parallel universe. Maybe he steps back into that original Star Trek timeline.
That makes me think.
I mean, the franchise is no stranger to parallel universes or time travel as well.
Right.
They've time traveled on several movies. They go to parallel dimensions all the time, parallel universes. So, I mean, the Kelvin timeline itself is a parallel, alternate timeline. So there's that. But it'll be interesting to see, again, especially after getting this news. I wonder if they fed off of the Ghostbusters news, that people are positively responding to Chris Hemsworth in Ghostbusters, and they're like, oh, they're into Chris Hemsworth right now. Let's announce him in our next Star Trek.
But when are people not into Chris Hemsworth?
Well,
I mean,
my wife is saying she's always into Chris Hemsworth, but that's beside the point. I'm just saying people are positively responding to him for once in a movie besides Thor.
Definitely.
Paramount said take advantage of that. We got Star Trek coming up. Let's take this actor who is on a high right now and this franchise or this movie that will be coming up, put them together so people get more excited for the movie maybe as well.
Right. I mean, two big names like that, it's hard for me not to think of them on the same screen and the same scene together with some type of time travel. I mean, that just screams money to me, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the last big story I want to talk about real quick is Javier Bardem is reportedly in talks to star as Frankenstein for Universal Studios. So according to Variety, Bardem is in talks to join Universal Studios' monster cinematic universe that they're doing. First movie coming out is going to be The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Then they got The Invisible Man planned with Johnny Depp. Now Bardem is said to be part of the planned Bride of Frankenstein film that is in development. However, it is unlikely, A, if he'll play Dr. Frankenstein or the monster, and B, if he'll actually get another appearance before the Bride of Frankenstein movie. But Universal Studios, they've been talking about this shared cinematic universe. They want to get in on it. You know, WB has their DC universe. Marvel has their shared universe. Universal Studios, is it Universal? Yeah, they've been talking about making the Fast and Furious cinematic universe. Ghostbusters wants to do their own Ghostbusters cinematic. It's what the end style is. So they've tried to launch that. They tried to start off with Dracula Untold, was a flop. Now they're going a different route to where I'm kind of impressed, where if you want people to take your cinematic universe seriously, you get the right talent. Right. Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem. There's even talks they're getting Angelina Jolie as the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, perfect.
And that's what Marvel did. Marvel has recruited top talent for their films, like Robert Redford and Anthony Odin. What's his name? Hopkins.
Oh, Anthony. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All that. They're getting that top tier talent for their films, and that's really what's getting them motive. So before, people weren't taking this movie universe seriously at all. They're recruiting so much talent now, people have to take notice.
And then with characters, I mean, with material that's such as that, The Invisible Man, The Mummy, classics like that.
I'm very curious to see who they'll do as Dracula and the Wolfman. Those are two of my favorites.
Oh, I could probably name a few Wolfman for you off the bat, but when I read the news about Javier Bardem, I immediately thought of the mad scientist look. I feel like I've seen him play a character like that before. But it would be pretty interesting and pretty awesome to see him as a new take on Frankenstein, And
I think honestly, he's big and he's kind of monstery, so I think I'd see him more as the monster than the doctor.
But if he does play the monster, he's not going to have a whole lot of lines. I can imagine he would be a very...
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, because eventually
it seems like a waste of talent.
In the Frankenstein lore, he went on to Frankenstein the monster went on to learn and actually become smarter, which is kind of what they did off the I, Frankenstein with Aaron Eckhart, which another movie that bombed, where he actually throughout the years, it's horrible. Please don't. It went on, and the monster went on to learn and actually become a full-fledged person. Actually,
assassin on top of that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to talk about that movie. I was so upset with that movie. It looked so cool. That storyline looked cool, and it was just a mess. What made me even more sad that one of my top 5 actresses that I'm allowed to sleep with, according to Lisa, was in that film, and it was just a horrible film. So,
yikes.
Anyway, so yeah, the monster universe shaping up to be nice.
Yeah.
I want to see a first trailer for The Mummy,
right? And
just see how it's going to shake out. We'll just have to wait and see about that. Yep. But that'll be cool. All right, so we're running out of time here, so let's just do a couple quick hits, okay? Kingsman: The Golden Circle. There was a picture came out with a quote of Colin Farrell saying, "Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." In the first film, his character, we saw him die, okay? But now they're teasing that he's going to be in this new film. Do you think it's going to be, again, flashback, twin brother? What do you think?
Maybe he's twin brother.
Or is it him? Never know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea about that. I don't see him fitting in the film, but you never know. He could do it. I'll take it. Fox has a X-Men TV show planned, actually, but it's not actually X-Men. What it is, it's an unknown title right now, but basically two parents find out that their kids have mutant abilities, and they will go on a run from the government to try to survive, go underground with other mutants and try to fight to survive. It's set in the X-Men universe, but it's not really X-Men. I'm not interested. What about you?
Well, I like Escape to Witch Mountain. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like an X-Men meets
like
Escape to Witch Mountain.
Did you ever see the movie Midnight Run that came out last year with Michael Shannon?
No.
It's the same thing. It's got Michael Shannon and Kirsten Dunst, and their son starts to develop these powers, and the government wants them, so they take him on the run. So it's kind of what it seems like. I'm not excited. I'd rather see a rather live-action movie, even if it's not Cyclops, Storm, or Wolverine. Bring in the new mutants like, Cannonball or something like that, and just give me something that I recognize, not just some some story that could be anything and just slap the X-Men name on it.
Right.
In real life. So there's that.
Yeah,
Picture came out from the CW in DC of the actor Kenlin Lodesdale. I don't no idea how to say it. Anyway, the guy who plays Wally West.
Wally West, right.
On The Flash. He came out. They actually showed him in the Kid Flash costume. Did you see the pictures?
I saw the picture. What do you think of it?
Okay, so I know you haven't seen season 2 of Flash.
I haven't
yet. You'll probably see it soon.
I didn't know. Yeah.
So this kind of feeds into the fact that at the end of season 2, looks like we're leading towards Flashpoint.
Right,
So some people are saying that him being the Kid Flash is in the alternate timeline of Flashpoint, is what it is.
Oh.
But at the end of season 2, you also see him get hit by the particle accelerator, and everyone is waiting for him for like the last couple episodes to go full speedster.
Yeah.
And little spoiler, he never does. So this could be him finally doing it, or him in an alternate timeline. We don't know.
I can't wait to see the second season.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, so next up we got jumping over. Fox has said that season 3 of their show Gotham, they're going to bring in the Court of Owls. Court of Owls being a very famous recent storyline done by Zack Snyder in the comic books. Probably one of my favorite Batman storylines ever, and a pretty recent one as well. However, I don't watch Gotham. I don't like Gotham, so to me it's kind of a waste. I like they're doing the storyline. They need to do it in a film and not the TV show, though. That's my opinion.
In my opinion, I think this is the first step for us to see, a Court of Owls movie storyline.
Well, they did it in the animated Batman versus Robin, which I don't think you've seen it.
Yeah. They touched it. But I think this is necessary to let's see, test the market on Gotham. Although Gotham kind of sucks, but I find it great that they're actually introducing this storyline into that show. Hopefully it does well, so we can see a Court of Owls movie, man. Cool. And that would be with talent. That'd be awesome.
Cool. All right then. Well, that's it. All I got for today, man. That's it. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything to add?
Man, not really. I can't wait to see this Batman versus Superman.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm going to watch mine tonight. And then, of course, like I said, this weekend we got Comic-Con, so hopefully we get some good Wonder Woman stuff, maybe some Justice League news. Like I said, just like Lisa and I spent a half hour talking about Star Wars Celebration, we'll probably spend at least most of the show next week talking about San Diego Comic-Con and all the stuff that came out from that, but also Star Trek Beyond will be out by then. I'll have seen it by then, so we can talk about that. You're going to go see this weekend, or?
I don't know, possibly. Got a lot of action movies.
Dude, okay, so here's how my slate goes. Okay, I feel like I'm getting a bunch of movies. So I just saw Ghostbusters. This weekend I'm going to go see Star Trek Beyond. Monday we're going to see Batman: The Killing Joke, which we can talk about that next week
as well.
And then on Wednesday I'm going to do a special preview of Jason Bourne.
What?
That comes out in 2 weeks, but I'm going to see it 3 days before it opens.
Have you seen the rest of those?
I've seen the rest of them, but also Anthony let me borrow the first 3 movies with Matt Damon. So I'm going to watch those before I go see it just to review.
Okay.
So nice. It'll be cool too. So a lot of movies coming out that we're going to see. So next week we'll be talking Star Trek. We'll be talking The Killing Joke. We'll be talking Comic-Con. A lot on the plate, man. You better show up, okay? Be on time next time.
I need to do my homework.
Exactly.
Apparently, it sounds
you know what? Like I said, next week is going to be me and Lisa's moving week. So I'm not going to have time to fuck around. All right? So you better get a game on, okay? No partying late night, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, guys. So that is it. If you have any questions, comments, want to talk to us, hit us up at dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. You can find me personally on Instagram and Twitter, Slim, SLYM, Dayspring12. Josh, where can I find you?
Instagram, I am Batman 24/7.
All right, guys. So that's it for us for now. We will see you next week. Until then, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.